it has shifted us. It's like a paradigm shift for us. We had to solicit for some fund to buy all our reporters smartphones so that you can report from where you are. One, COVID-19 came up with a lockdown. Mobility was locked down. People could not move. So, but you could call somebody, you can get a bite from someone, you can take a picture and send it to the editor in the studio. So those are the kind of things that had to change immediately. And those who didn't know how to use them, we had to call them and train them to see how we can cope up with the trend. Because if not, media is a very trendy thing. If you don't move with the trends, then you're left behind.
So this is the time for media, like especially during COVID. But like during COVID, everyone was paying attention to the radio, to the TV, to the papers. The people were thirsty and hungry, looking for any kind of information related to this whole COVID thing because it was new. Some people did not know if it's real. People, like, they kept on telling us, wash your hands, use sanitizer, wear your mask and all that stuff. But people were hungry to find out more about what this thing is about. So that was an opportunity for media because now all ears and all eyes are on them. So that was a way for them to profit from that attention. That is a way for them to profit from that attention and then use their platforms to give the much needed information that the people do need at that time.
There's a challenge, the transportation means has also gone higher. You're supposed to go somewhere and then you're supposed to pay double price of the rate that it was supposed to have been before the pandemic. And then as me, I don't have enough money to cater for all that. You have to scratch your head. Sometimes I even spend like a month without publishing a story because I do feature stories, basically. I don't go for hard news, breaking stories, because I feel it's not my niche. So by the time I want to go and do an extensive interview deep in the village, you have to count double the price of what you used to have for your transport means. Yes.
So we faced some challenges with our clients. So our advertising revenues went down. Number three, we were not able to get the best content during the COVID pandemic because many people didn't want to have contact with us, to reach out to them, sit with them and interview them, and so we affected in two ways. One, revenues, but also editorial-wise.
We have similar challenges when it comes to what we are communicating out there. How do you help the public to conceive and consume information? So like you have rightly said, COVID came as a bang. We did not expect the disease. It's not been witnessed at this scale before. And it's not clear, it's not easy. Nobody went to class to study how to report on COVID or how to report on a disease whose spread is through so many ways. So journalists have been challenged, media houses have been challenged. We've already said they have to continue sending out journalists, they have to continue getting news in the traditional way, and it's quite challenging. It's been a challenge from what we have been seeing, from those we work with, to see how they adopt, but also the kind of messages. And luckily, if you look at the COVID information, we've had to depend on a hierarchical. We've been depending a lot on the authorities and the directions they give from the ministry to the president. So that has been a little easier. But when it comes to the current sort of dispensation where people are sort of used and have started doubting whether this is there, it would have required that the media probably is better prepared to offer the kind of messages that would either create the kind of concern that can keep people focused on the dangers of the disease, but also it's also questionable whether the kind of fear that was generated in the beginning was warranted. So the media, as always, it's a channel of communication, and there are people across the divide. People, for example, who want more fear, more control, more targeted control of people, how they behave, and those who say, look.
I would say It affected us mainly negatively because we have, I would say, we have programs that depend entirely on what is happening in the community. Let's say we have the entertainment programs, and then we have and mainly the entertainment programs. They depend entirely on what is happening in the community, like what happened here, on the happenings. They have an event here, we have an event there, you have to send their reporters, and it's what your viewers who are watching that program are waiting for. And most importantly, entertainment programs have more clients, have more sponsors than any other programs. So when the lockdown came, they had to stop happening places. Government had to lock them. Bars are not working, no happenings, like we call them in our local language, ebivulu. No artist is preparing any show anywhere. So it means now your presenter who is doing entertainment has to have a broad mind. You have to think deep, and you have to help them think and look for what they have to do during this lockdown, because nobody is working, no artist is allowed to move from home. They have to be home, and you're not allowed to go maybe visit them in their home because it's a lockdown. Government thinks you may get the disease from here to another point, so you're totally locked. And remember, you're being locked, and the community being locked has nothing to do with the viewer. A viewer is just waiting for you. They want you to give them, to continue giving them like it's normal. They take the media as something that will never be affected in any way. Whether there is war, whether there is an epidemic like that one, whether there is anything, the viewer knows media is like police, is like hospital. Hospitals will never close. So media is like that.
At the beginning of 2020, COVID-19 wreaked havoc, sending the whole world into a lockdown. The global economy slowly shut down, with businesses closing operations. These economic challenges did not spare the media industry. And at the time when the public needed information, journalists were either laid off or they are working in very hard conditions. The newspaper industry itself faced an almost sudden inhalation due to lockdown and social distancing as revenues went lower. The economic stress aside, an already struggling media landscape was also hit by a second virus accompanying COVID-19, the infodemic, which manifested itself in form of fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. And as an organization that is very passionate about keeping journalism alive, we went out to document the impact of COVID-19 to the media industry in Uganda. This very video you're watching is part of a 12-part series featuring media managers answering some of the questions that you'll be watching. Enjoy.